The measurements for this card that I have created, again, when it's folded up, it's a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 inch square. And so for the card base, this outside piece, before I cut that hole into it, it was an 8 1/2 by 4 1/4 inch rectangle. So 8 1/2 inches long by 4 1/4 inches tall. Once I've cut that square, and I used a pattern paper for this one. The nice thing about Simply Stated Design pattern papers, for example, is that they're single-sided. So like the inside of your card is white and it gives like a nice clean look on the inside of the card. But any pattern paper would work.
You said 8 1/2 by what, sorry?
It was 8 1/2 by 4 1/4. And then for the inside base, ignoring this decorative part for the moment, but this inside piece, I chose a solid color for that one, and it was cut down to 8 1/4 by 4. So I've just chopped a 1/4 of an inch off in both directions. So it's just slightly smaller. It insets a little bit onto the base card piece. So outer pattern paper, 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. Inside solid paper, 4 by 8 1/4. Once you've done that, you can take both pieces of paper and fold them in half. So pattern paper, again, pretend that that square's not cut out there. You're going to take it and fold it in half. And that will leave you with a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 inch square. And then solid paper, which was cut down to 4 inches by 8 1/4, you can also fold in half. The solid paper that we had cut down to 4 by 8 1/4 and folded in half, doesn't matter which side, but you can pick one side to fold back again. So you're going to take one of the two halves and fold it in half again. Once we have done that, I chose to cut a square out of the front of mine. Why is my mouse not working here? And I cut a 3 inch by 3 inch square out of the center of mine. But you, again, if you have a die cut, you want to run this through, or maybe a circle punch, or anything. You could hand cut something if you wanted to. I cut a 3 inch by 3 inch square, but you can, again, cut anything you like out of the front portion of this card. And whatever element you have chosen to cut, for me, again, it was a 4 by 4 inch square. You are going to then be gluing onto this other piece. I just need to go grab mine. I forgot it over here. So whether you chose to also cut a 3 by 3 inch square or you choose to cut something else, you will set that piece aside and we will be assembling it to our cardstock in a moment. So once you've cut all of those pieces, you're going to take your card base that has a shape cut out of the front cover of it, and you're going to take your solid cardstock sheet that has been folded and folded again. You're going to open up your pattern paper and glue your solid cardstock that was cut down to the 4 by 8 1/4 and folded in half and in half, and you're going to glue the big half that you did not cut down to your card base. And you will see that there is white space around all the edges because we did cut it a little bit smaller, so there should be an 1/8 of an inch around every edge of that paper, with the folded, like the alligator mouth, facing out. Then once you've glued that down, and again, you're only gluing this large piece, you want this to be a free-flowing element to your card. You can close everything so that you make sure to line this next part up perfectly, because you want everything to sit and match up perfectly. So once you've done that, you'll be able to close the card, and you can see where you'll be able to apply adhesive onto this piece to stick this down. So anywhere where you see open space on this half portion of your folded card, you can apply, I used a glue pen, but you can use score tape or Easy Runner or whatever you would like. And you're gonna perfectly set this piece that you've cut, whether it was a circle, an oval, a star, a square, and you'll glue it down, and it's only gonna stick to the one half of the card. And then after that, it's just decorating. Oh my goodness, this feels really terrible. All right, so I will show you again how that's going to function now that you've glued everything down. Everything's gonna sit perfectly inside of itself, and then when you open it, it's not gonna be stuck down on the second half, it's only stuck down where we saw the opening. And then there's space for you to write a message, hide a little, you know, gift card maybe, or whatever you would like inside of that. And that's a cute little interactive card. That can be repurposed in so many different ways. So feel free to use the measurements that I gave, but also feel free to make this whatever you like. The possibilities for this one are endless because it's so easy to modify. There's no like special math formula you have to follow. It's not a tricky one to customize to suit your needs. Does anybody have any questions?